Namaste, Dandavat Pranam. By the instruction and grace of our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj, we are here reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 4, The Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 14, Text 19. Tasya Ragyo Mahabhaga Bhagavan Bhuta Bhavana Paritusyati Vishvatma Tishthato Nija Sashane. O noble one, if the king sees that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original cause of the cosmic manifestation and the supersoul within everyone, is worshipped, the Lord will be satisfied. Purport. It is a fact that the government's duty is to see that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is satisfied by the activities of the people as well as by the activities of the government. There is no possibility of happiness if the government or citizenry have no idea of Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the original cause of the cosmic manifestation, or if they have no knowledge of Bhuta Bhavana, who is Vishvatma, or the Supersoul, the soul of everyone's soul. The conclusion is that without engaging in devotional service, neither the citizens nor the government can be happy in any way. Can be happy in any way. At the present moment, neither the king nor the governing body is interested in seeing that the people are engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather, they are more interested in advancing the machinery of sense gratification. Consequently, they are becoming more and more implicated in the complex machinery of the stringent laws of nature. People should be freed from the entanglement let's see. At present moment, neither the king nor the governing body is interested in seeing that the people are engaged in devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather, they are more interested in advancing the machinery of sense gratification. Consequently, they are becoming more and more implicated in the complex machinery of the stringent laws of nature. People should be freed from the entanglement of the three modes of material nature, and the only process by which this is possible is surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is advised in Bhagavad Gita. Unfortunately, neither the government nor the people in general have any idea of this. They are simply interested in sense gratification and in being happy in this life. The word Nija Sashane, in his own governmental duty, indicates that both the government and the citizens are responsible for the execution of Varnashram Dharma. Once the populace is situated in the Varnashram Dharma, there is every possibility of real life and the prosperity both in this world and in the next. Dandavat Pranam, Umadevi, Dandavat Pranam Ananda Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Dandavat to everyone.
Text 20. Tasmim stushte kim aprapyam jaghatam ishvareshvare lokasa palahe tasmai haranti bhalim adrita. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipped by the great demigods who are controllers of universal affairs. When he is satisfied, nothing is impossible to achieve. For this reason, all the demigods, presiding deities of different planets, as well as the inhabitants of their planets, take great pleasure in offering all kinds of paraphernalia for his worship. Purport. All Vedic civilization is summarized in this verse. All living entities, either on this planet or on other planets, have to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead by their respective duties. When he is satisfied, all necessities of life are automatically supplied. In the Vedas, it is also stated, Eko bahudam yo vidhati, come on, Katha Upanishad 2.2.13. From the Vedas, we understand that he is supplying everyone's necessities, and we can actually see that the lower animals, the birds and beasts, have no business or profession, yet are not dying for want of food. They are all living in nature's way, and they all have the necessities of life provided, namely eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Human society, however, has artificially created a type of civilization which makes one forgetful of this relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Modern society even enables one to forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead's grace and mercy. Consequently, modern civilized man is always unhappy and in need of things. People do not know that the ultimate goal of life is to approach Lord Vishnu and satisfy him. They have taken this materialistic way of life as everything and have become captivated by materialistic activities. Indeed, their leaders are always encouraging them to follow this path, and the general populace, being ignorant of the laws of God, are following their blind leaders down the path of unhappiness. In order to rectify this world situation, all people should be trained in Krishna consciousness and act in accordance with the Varnashram system. The state should also see that people are engaged in satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the primary duty of the state. The Krishna consciousness movement was started to convince the general populace to adopt the best process by which to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus solve all problems. Text 21. Tam sarva lokamaraya sangraham trayimayam dravyamayam tapomayam yajnar vichitrar yajatopabhayate rajansvadeshan anurodum arhasi. Dear King, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with the predominating deities, is the enjoyer of the results of all sacrifices in all planets. The Supreme Lord is the sum total of the three Vedas, the owner of everything and the ultimate goal of all austerity. Therefore, your countrymen should engage in performing various sacrifices for your elevation. Indeed, you should always direct them towards the offering of sacrifices. Text 22. Yajnena yusmad vishaye dvitatibir vidyamanina surakalahare srishta sutushta pradishanti vanchitam tadhelanam narhasi virachestitum. When all the brahmanas engage in performing sacrifices in your kingdom, all the demigods who are plenary expansions of the Lord will be very much satisfied by their activities, and will give you your desired result. Therefore, O hero, do not stop the sacrificial performances. If you stop them, you will disrespect the demigods. Text 23. Vena uvacha balisabate yuyam va adharme dharma manina ye vritti dhampatim hitva jarampatim upashate. King Vena replied, You are not at all experienced. It is very much regrettable that you are maintaining something which is not religious and are accepting it as religious. Indeed, I think you are giving up your real husband who maintains you and are searching after some paramour to worship. Purport. King Vena was so foolish that he accused the saintly sages of being inexperienced like small children. In other words, he was accusing them of not having perfect knowledge. In this way, he could reject their advice and make accusations against them, comparing them to a woman who does not care for her husband, who maintains her, but goes to satisfy a paramour who does not maintain her. The purpose of this simile is apparent. It is the duty of the Kshatriyas to engage the Brahmanas in different types of religious activities, and the king is supposed to be the maintainer of the Brahmanas. If the Brahmanas do not worship the king, but instead go to the demigods, they are as polluted as unchaste women. Text 24. Abhajanantyami mudha nriparupinam ishvaram nanu vindante te bhadram ihaloke paratracha. Those who, out of gross ignorance, do not worship the king, who is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, experience happiness neither in this world nor in the world after death. Text 25. Ko yagya purusho nama yatrabho bhaktir idrashi partrisneha vidoranam yatajare kuyoshitam. You are so much devoted to the demigods, but who are they? Indeed, your affection for these demigods is exactly like the affection of an unchaste woman, who neglects her married life and gives all attention to her paramour. Texts 26 through 27. Vishnur virincho girisa indro vayor yamoravi parjanyo dana dasoma chitir agnir apampati ete chanye cha vibudha prabhavo bharasapayo dehe bhavanti nripate sarvadeva mayo nripa. Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Indru, Vayu, the master of air, Yama, the superintendent of death, the sun god, the director of rainfall, Kuver, the treasurer, the moon god, the predominating deity of the earth, Agni, the fire god, Varuna, the lord of waters, and all others who are great and competent to bestow benedictions or to curse, all abide in the body of the king. For this reason, the king is known as the reservoir of all demigods, who are simply parts and parcels of the king's body. Purport. There are many demons who think of themselves as the supreme and present themselves as the directors of the sun, moon, and other planets. This is all due to false pride. Similarly, King Vena developed the demoniac mentality and presented himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such demons are numerous in this age of Kali, and all of them are condemned by great sages and saintly persons. Text 28. Tasman mam karma bhir vipra yajadvam gata matsara balim shamayam harata matonya kogra bhupuman. King Vena continued, for this reason, O Brahmanas, you should abandon your envy of me, and by your ritualistic activities you should worship me and offer me all paraphernalia. If you are intelligent, you should know that there is no personality superior to me who can accept the first oblations of all sacrifices. Purport. As stated by Krishna himself throughout Bhagavad Gita, there is no truth superior to him. King Vena was imitating the Supreme Personality of Godhead and was also speaking out of false pride, presenting himself as the Supreme Lord. These are all characteristics of a demonic person. Text 29. Maitreya uvacha itam viparayaya mati papiyan utpatham gata anun iyamanastadyachnam nachakre brasta mangala. The great sage Maitreya continued, thus the king who became unintelligent due to his sinful life and deviation from the right path became actually bereft of all good fortune. He became bereft of all good fortune. He could not accept the requests of the great sages which the sages put before him with great respect, and therefore he was condemned. Purport: the demons certainly cannot have any faith in the words of authorities. In fact, they are always disrespectful to authorities. They manufacture their own religious principles and disobey great personalities like Vyasa, Narada, and even the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. As soon as one disobeys authority, he immediately becomes very sinful and loses his good fortune. The king was so puffed up and impudent that he dared disrespect the great saintly personalities, and this brought him ruination. Text 30. Iti te sat kritastena dvija pandita manina bhagnayam bhavya yachnayam tasmai vidura chukudo. My dear Vidura, all good fortune unto you. The foolish king, who thought himself very learned, thus insulted the great sages, and the sages, being broken-hearted by the king's words, became very angry at him. And thus ends our reading for today. We will continue from text 31 on Monday. Were there any comments or questions from the assembled devotees?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev, Srila Shanta Maharaj Ki Jai.
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 Jai Rupanuga, Guru Varga Ki Jai.
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 Glories to the assembled devotees, our glories to the worldwide devotees, Sama Bhaktivedanta Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Nishangapali Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur
Jai.
Dham Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai,
Jai.
Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, Ju Ki Jai.
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 Gangamayi, Yamuna Mayi Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai,
Jai.
Giri Govardhan, Gupta Govardhan Dham Ki Jai, Sham Kund, Radha Kund Ki Jai,
Jai.
Tulsi Devi, Bhakti Devi, Vrinda Devi Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Harinam Sankirtan Yagi Ki Jai, Scientific
Jai.
Sankirtan Yagi Ki Jai, Srimad
Jai.
Bhagavatam Ki Jai,
Jai.
Princeton Bhaktivedanta Institute Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya
Jai.
Saraswati Institute Ki Jai, Sri
Jai.
Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Ki Jai, Nitai,
Jai.
Gaurapanam, Hari Hari Bol.
Hari
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 Bol.
Bol.
Jai Srimati Uma Devi Dasi Ki Jai, Sripadananda
Jai.
Krishna
Jai.
Guru Ki Jai.
Jai.
Oh.
Sripad Krishna Keshav Prabhu Ji ki Jai.
Jai.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Next tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow we'll be meeting with
Uma
Sripad.
Devi, you in India?
Yes, Prabhuji, I'm in India now.
Oh, very good.
Dhanyavad.
Dandavat.